Growing up in the inn was a hoot. I mean, my parents bought the building in 1980 and slowly opened it over a number of years. There was really no difference in life between work and family because we lived, worked, and breathed at the restaurant. And, when the inn opened, the restaurant opened first, and they slowly opened one guest room and then one more at a time. And we all moved in upstairs.
The Pocono Mountains is the birthplace to a Pocono wonderland of untold pleasure.
Winter in the Poconos, clear and crisp.
Called the land of the waterfall.
A recipe for romance.
I grew up from, born and raised, so to speak. And so my grandfather was the gym teacher and the swim coach and the basketball coach. And we had a house here on the lake. And so every minute we had was either in the water or back at the inn at the restaurant. My parents worked 6-7 days a week when we were kids. And so we went to work with them. And as a young boy, to me, that was just fun. So I was in the kitchen with my dad right up until I was old enough to take a tip. And I was like, wow, that cash is a lot better. So I left the kitchen and went into the front of the house, and that was mom's territory. And I would say it instilled both a work ethic, but also just a love for food and beverage and hospitality in general. I graduated Wallenpaupack in 1995 and wanted to get as far out of Hawley as I could. And then after visiting some schools, I ended up going back to where my mother's family was from, which is Bethlehem at Lehigh University, to study business, which ended up going to a banking career. But, when you're 18, Hawley can be a little limiting, at least in the 80s and 90s. So I was ready to get out. But as I became older, I liked coming home more and more. And at a certain point, it was obvious. As an adult, I became involved in the family business not until 2010. And I happened to have exited a former career, and I had some time to be at home. And at the time, my parents were also looking to get closer to retirement, although 15 years later, they still work every day. So obviously, Settlers Inn was the first in the portfolio of businesses, and not many people realize second was actually Sayre Mansion. It was a project that my parents did originally, and it was just after I graduated Lehigh, and it's only a few blocks away. And my parents and my sister ended up running that for 17 years. Our third property was now Ledges Hotel, and it was the first property I was actively involved in from an investor standpoint. But I fell in love with the waterfall, the sort of contemporary nature of the design in an old factory setting. So it was our first contemporary boutique property by design, which fell in line with my style. And so that brought us to 3. And it was very shortly after that we were approached by the Earhart family, who have owned and operated this resort for 72 years on multiple generations, and actually before Lake Wallenpaupack ever even existed. After that, we were looking more in the Scranton market, and one of our partners who we do a lot of construction with wanted to pursue a property what is now Hotel Anthracite. And the Dock Restaurant, which is affiliated with the resort, is by far our largest number of seats, but also our most casual, family-friendly restaurant. To come back and not have an impactful chain, I think would have been irresponsible for us, given the business that we do. So today, whether it's working with Human Resource Foundation on their consumers and making sure that, folks with handicaps are, have workforce opportunities, or if it's working with our, Vacation Bureau or our Chamber of Commerce or our state's Restaurant and Lodging Association, we try and be involved in both the industry-related organizations as well as the community ones. And so we support in the way of hosting, donating, or in-kind exchanges over 500 different nonprofits every calendar year. And that's, for the size company, I think disproportionate from normal, but it fills our value of community development.